This week on the County Line, we sit down with one of New Wilmington's most successful businesses. In sports, we catch up with the swim team. And finally, we give you a behind-the-scenes look of J.D. Eicher's new music video. All this and more on the County Line.
Hello and welcome to the County Line. I'm Ashley Durham.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Oliar. The Lenten season is near, and if you're looking somewhere to get fish, we've got the place for you. Mary Mother Hope Parish is hosting its annual Ash Wednesday Fish Fry. Organizers will serve meals from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the Parish Center located on the corner of North and Beaver Street in Newcastle. Takeout orders are accepted. Please call the parish for more information.
In a small town like New Wilmington, it may be hard to keep a business going. One man has been able to keep his business successful because of the support from the local community. The County Line's Ryan Johnston has more.
Gillian's Market has been owned and operated by Jeff Gillian for 26 years. After he had purchased the business from the previous owner he grew up knowing.
I have been a meat cutter since I got out of high school. And the previous owner I've known since I was born, and he tried to hire me a couple times when I was working for the chain stores, and I didn't want to leave, and I tried to come to work for him a couple times, and he didn't need a meat cutter at the time, and it just happened his meat cutter was retiring, and I was working for Giant Eagle, if I'm allowed to say that, and I had had enough of corporate
Capstone preview, right?
rules and regulations, let's say, and I knew I didn't want to spend my life working in a corporate store. He came to me and asked me to come to work for him, and I did I had the first option to buy the store when it became available, and that was 3.5 years after I came to work for him.
One of the things he likes about having a business in a small town is the local community that helps support his business.
It's the people. It's really nice. It's really nice to have a community and that supports you, and when people say, they're going to Jeff's, it's Gillian's Market, but most everyone says they're going to Jeff's, and it's very rewarding.
One aspect of the small town business he likes also deals with the people who support his business.
I like knowing everyone. I like meeting new people, and I get to know names pretty quickly, and I get to know people. I'm not shy, I'm not backward, and that has helped my business because people appreciate walking in after if someone comes in 3 or 4 times, I normally ask them their name and say, I see you're coming in, what's your name? And when they come back the next time and I remember their name, that impresses a lot of people.
Over the years, he has also been able to take notice of one characteristic of college students.
I can pick up on college kids that are from big towns. When I'm walking down the street and you say hello, the kids that don't look at you and sometimes don't even speak, you know they're from a big town. But I've made a lot of friends of college kids over the years.
In a town as unique as New Wilmington, you wouldn't think the Amish would go into a grocery store, but they do, and for Jeff, it is just like having anyone else walk into his store.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of people think that the Amish make everything themselves and do everything themselves, and they don't. 75 or 100 years ago, yes, but not anymore. As far as dealing with the Amish, I was raised on a farm. I'm a farm boy, and I've been amongst the Amish my whole life. One of my best friends growing up was the Amish boy that was on the neighboring farms.
With the Amish going into a grocery store, there is one item they buy that might be surprising to some.
It's not unusual to me, but you cannot believe how many pizza shells the Amish buy. They love pizza and the mozzarella cheese and the pepperoni and everything that goes with it. They buy an amazing amount of pizza and chips and snacks. And people think, oh, the Amish wouldn't buy that. Oh, yes, they do. Yeah. There again, that's changed a lot in my lifetime.
Gillian's Market has been in New Wilmington for a long time, and if you want to help support a local business in a small town, just walk right into Gillian's Market, where you will be greeted and welcomed by the owner. Reporting for the County Line, I'm Ryan Johnston.
Coming up, we meet Newcastle's own fairy tale couple.
Stay tuned, more County Line is on the way.
Imagine a day away from home unwinding in the Amish countryside. Spend the afternoon exploring the rich Amish culture. Wrap yourself in a cozy handmade quilt. Discover an orchard that dates back 150 years. Enjoy the freshest local produce. Treat yourself to great home cooking. Relax along the Neshannock Creek. Visit New Wilmington, the heart of Western Pennsylvania's Amish country.
This message is a community service from the New Wilmington Chamber of Commerce and WCN.
Westminster College is great for working around my schedule. I'm April Stewart. I'm an empty nester. I work full-time and I also work part-time. Westminster College has a flexible schedule that allows me to choose. Going to college is not something that I always thought I would be able to do. The flexible schedule at Westminster College has really enabled me to pursue something that I thought would never be able to come true. And so this has been a lifelong dream of mine.
Planning is underway for the annual Westminster College Relay for Life. Members of the Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity are responsible for planning the event. The annual 12-hour walk to raise money for cancer research takes place on May 5th. Contact Mike O'Leary at olearyml@westminster.com.
With best-selling books and award-winning movies that tell the stories of timeless love, it's hard to believe there are actually true stories like The Notebook. The County Line's Ashley Bishop discovered a Newcastle couple that has a special story of how they met and what it takes to make a marriage last.
Right through the very heart of it, New York, New York.
Meeting on 42nd and Broadway in New York City back in 1953, 20-year-old Newcastle resident Stan Watkins and 16-year-old Astoria, Long Island resident Marge Crowley have been together ever since. They met on an April day in a special yet common way.
We didn't know whether they was paying attention or not, but we had to stop for a red light, and that gave us a chance to say a few things, and we got the telephone number, and the next day was Sunday, and we went out to Marge's house.
A few days later, 20-year-old Stan, in the Army, was shipped overseas for 20 months. But the distance and time only made their love grow stronger.
And when I got over there, I had a stack of letters, and every one of them, it was 21 days going overseas, and every one of them letters had a number on it, from 1 to 21. And it just seemed to take me forever to... She wrote them in longhand, too, and I mean, they were not just one page, but 3 and 4.
20 months later, last off the ship, Stan finally returned home. Only waiting 10 days, Stan and Marge ran off to get married.
I've called her Hon all my life. And I said, Hon, I said, are you going to marry me? And she said, yes. I said, well, let's get some clothes and let's take off. And that's what we did.
Being married throughout the years, they have faced many ups and downs. One of the hardest times the Watkins have had to face is losing a loved one.
It's hard to think of the toughest times, but like Marge said, losing your oldest son, when he said goodnight to us, I love you, Mom, I love you, Dad. and then try to wake them in the morning. That was tough. That was tough. But the Lord seen us through it all.
Despite the tough and challenging times, the Watkins have stayed strong. With their faith and by each other's side, Stan and Marge say the secret to a successful marriage is trust.
I don't know how to explain it, but my love for Marge is stronger now than the day I met her. And that's the way it should be.
Coming up after the break, we look into the world of Westminster athletics on Titantown Sports.
Stay tuned. More County Line is on the way.
Lap times, or GPA. Hi, I'm Joe Underko, Executive Director of the President's Athletic Conference, and we say both are important. 10 schools, over 600 student athletes, all on the PAC honor roll, all with GPA 3.6 or higher. PAC athletes are awarded for excellence both on the field and in the classroom. PAC athletes, academically and athletically elite.
Titan Radio would like to thank you for making it one of the top 20 college radio stations in America. There's college radio, and then there's Titan Radio, digital 88.9.
The liberal arts work at Westminster College. Westminster graduates have a 96% placement rate. They have developed the skills needed to succeed in any field. That's what makes the liberal arts so powerful and flexible. Experience success the Westminster way.
Hello and welcome to Titantown Sports. I'm Josh Dunn. Swim season is winding down as the conference championships approach. 2 times a day, this team of dedicated athletes meets to train. From divers to swimmers, everyone does their part in practice to prepare for each and every opponent. Kyle Brunage goes behind the scenes to see how hard these highly conditioned athletes work.
It's just before 6 in the morning. I find swimming head coach Robert Clammett and his team awake and heading to the weight room. Once 6 o'clock hits,
Ready, go!
It's go time. Todd Slobaniak tells me why they are up so early.
We do before classes, kind of have like all day of classes to like recover and, you know, and get rested up, and then we have practice in the afternoon or at night. So it's kind of so we can spread our practices out well enough that we're not killing ourselves at night.
I also visited their second practice, which takes place here at the natatorium. After having a few hours of rest, the swimmers are back to work training in the pool. They work on a variety of drills, from plain laps to starts to training with different equipment. Caitlin Layberger tells me the benefits of their training equipment.
You feel a lot stronger. It helps build a lot of muscle. So it's a lot smoother and easier to go through the water. So you can also work on your technique.
Sean Schachner adds how the flippers help.
Flippers give us, let us simulate swimming faster with our kick. It's more like a kicking type tool.
Coach Clammett explains how his focus is on the swimmer's best interest.
We try to customize the training as much as we can. We take a look at the swimmer's specialty event, and we try to write the workouts so that each swimmer could get the most out of each workout that would help them drop their times and improve their times, which is the ultimate goal for a swimmer, is to always improve their time.
Coach Clammett pushes his team to overtrain and be the best that they can.
Well, we have a really dedicated team, and the swimmers know that in order for them to reach their goals, their team goals, and their individual goals, they know a swimmer needs to put in all this hard work.
The rumor of swimmers eating a lot is true, but it's for good reason.
You know, we're burning a lot of calories in the water and a lot in the weight room too, so we want to eat a lot and try to replenish ourselves that way. But, you know, it just really works up an appetite too, so.
Swimmers show true heart and dedication. They display their strength and power in every event they swim. For Titantown Sports, I'm Kyle Brunage.
Sharpshooter Doug Smith is the leading scorer for the Titan men's basketball team this season. Doug may be a fierce competitor on the court, but Kendall Hunter and Anthony Thomas show us his lighter side on this week's segment of Ask a Titan.
I'm Kendall Hunter, here on Ask a Titan, here with Doug Smith. So, Doug, what is your favorite cereal?
We'll say Frosted Flakes or Captain Crunch. Berry Kicks is also one of my favorites.
That's a classic. Okay. What's your favorite movie?
That's a tough one, but I really like, Coach Carter or Remember the Titans, sports movies.
All right, solid 2 for 2. And your third and final question would be, if you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
Teleport, because it's obviously the best superpower in the world, because you can go anywhere you want, anytime you want.
Another decent answer. I'm Kendall Hunter, here with Doug Smith for Ask a Titan.
That's it for Titan Town Sports. Stay tuned for more of the County Line.
There's a place where the music never stops, where you can tune in day and night. Commercial free, Titan Radio 88.9.
Titan Traverse wants groups of all ages and size to get a grip on leadership skills, swing into teamwork, elevate their flexibility, handle problem solving, and step up the self-confidence. Call today for your custom-made learning adventure.
Winter brings short days and long cold nights here in Western PA. One Neshannock woman uses her skills to create warmth and beauty during the cold weather, one quilt at a time. The County Line's Andrea Tice tells us more.
Linda Bauman is a Westminster grad, mother, grandmother, award-winning quilter, and home business owner. Her passion for quilting started 30 years ago when she tried her hand at a new type of sewing project.
At one point in about 1980, my parents remodeled their bedroom and made it very, what at the time was early American. And I said, what they need on their beds are a couple of quilts. I just tied them, I didn't hand quilt them. And I thought that was a lot of fun. So I just continued after that making quilts. I was self-taught for a lot of years. And then when we relocated to Colorado Springs, there was a quilt shop there. And that was a whole new experience. And they gave a lot of classes, so I started taking classes then.
Linda now runs a custom quilting business from her home using a high-tech sewing machine that has become the centerpiece of her living room.
Basically, the table's about 12 feet long. The machine itself is mounted on a carriage with wheels where it goes back and forth and back and forth. The carriage is mounted on tracks that run the length of the table the other direction, so that when I hold the handles and the needle goes up and down in one place, I can draw and move that machine in any direction that I want and travel down the length of the quilt.
Orders for quilts come by internet, phone, or mail from women who have pieced together their blanket but simply don't have the time, patience, room, or skill to complete the top layer of stitching known as quilting. So they turn to Linda and her long-arm stitching machine to get a difficult job done with style and beauty.
I do have a computer system that I can hook the machine into, insert the length of the quilt and the width of the quilt and the design that I want, and the computer will calculate the size and so on, and I can hook the machine in, press the start button, and it will quilt that design across the whole quilt hands-free. But when I do custom work, that's all with my two hands.
Despite the current economy, Linda still keeps her quilting machine humming with projects.
Yes, I'm busier than I ever was, which really surprised me because I expected that women would not have the disposable income to pay me to quilt their quilts. But surprisingly, it's been the other way around.
Behind the high-tech gadgetry and thriving home business, Linda says that quilting is far more than just a craft or a product.
I think that a quilt is definitely an inanimate object, but they carry with them an extra emotional meaning to them. When you think of being sick or something, you just want to wrap up in Grandma's old quilt. Somehow there's a comfort level to quilting.
The comfort a quilt can bring became very personal to Linda with the recent passing of her husband.
And I had a friend down in Florida, and she had lost her husband to cancer, and he had been in hospice for a while. And she felt moved to make a quilt for every bed in the hospice unit. And when Frank was in hospice on the very last day, when we were all going in to sort of say our final goodbyes, when we walked in the room, he was covered with one of Marion's quilts. And I really don't have words to express the meaning that carried for me to see that quilt. Maybe it was like those ladies, who had lost husbands before that worked on those quilts were there in that room with me. And I remember just sitting there with one hand on that quilt and the other one on my husband's hand, I guess like drawing strength from it or something.
For the County Line, this is Andrea Tice.
To the County Line, we have more news on the way.
Can't make it to the game? We've got a solution. Just tune in with The Titan. Watch the Westminster Cable Network or visit WCNLive.com. Don't forget to tune in with The Titan.
The Westminster Cable Network is your only option for full coverage for high school and collegiate sports, along with the latest for campus and community news. Enjoy WCN's coverage all day, every day on WCN247.com. WCN 24/7 is also on Facebook. Find us today at facebook.com/WCN247 and never miss out on Lawrence County's top stories.
With a 300% increase in applications in the last 3 years and top rankings nationally in educational quality and value, it's the perfect time to discover Westminster College. Discover the core values that separate Westminster from other colleges. Discover the Westminster Way.
In October 2011, local band J.D. Iger and the Goodnights began a secret project with Westminster students to create a new music video. Released in January of this year, the film has gained 2,000 hits on YouTube. The County Line's own Joe Lago and Andrea Tice give us a behind-the-scene look at the creating of the movie.
With 3 music videos already under their belts, the band members are used to being on camera, but their 4th effort features a few surprises. Shot in HD, the video centers around the song Easy off their 2nd album, Shifting. Considerable work was done before the cameras ever turned on. First, a song is chosen, then ideas are thrown around, which are eventually massaged into a script. Since the entire project was filmed indoors, the entire thing needed to be properly lit, which added a considerable amount of time to the production. Every time an angle changes, every time the camera is put in a new place, every time a person moves to a new position, lights have to be adjusted. JD says the video takes a different tone from some of the projects they've worked on in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of fun, and I don't know that, our past videos and our music tends to be on the more serious side. This is one of our more lighthearted songs.
While the band's previous videos have featured actors, this time the screen is shared with someone else. He's made of paper. This little guy comes to life through the old-school process of stop-motion animation. The technique is rather simple. Take many still pictures of an object and move it slightly between photos. Play those pictures back rapidly, and a star is born. Naturally, this requires a lot of photographs. Thankfully, digital photography makes the process much easier than it used to be. Using a high-quality DSLR camera, over 900 photos were taken. Then those photos were compiled in the computer and put together in sequence. From start to finish, the process took nearly 8 hours to complete. All that work for only 1 minute and 30 seconds of animation. With so many photos and so much HD video, the files took up a lot of hard drive space, 15.5 gigabytes to be exact. But JD says it's worth it, as the animation adds a lot to the film.
I love the animation. I think I like the idea that things kind of pile up on their own, you know what I mean? And so seeing that really takes the metaphor and brings it to life. So it's cool. I like that a lot, yeah.
The rest of the guys agree, for the most part.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool to have the stop motion animation and throwing it back and forth there. It's a really creative edge to. Ryan's just looking blankly because he has no idea what it looks like yet.
I don't know what stop motion is, so.
My daughter's a big fan of origami too, so that little origami thing that's gonna be huge.
The video's producers, Joe Ligo and Andrea Tice, share a unique connection to the band members. They all went to Westminster College, except for Jim.
He couldn't get in. He applied.
JD says he values this Westminster connection greatly.
Just, I think, you know, the way that the community looks out for its grads and for its students is really cool. So to be able to get together and do something like this is awesome.
At last, after all the planning, scripting, lighting, filming, photographing, and editing, the project is done. Despite all the hard work, they always maintained a good attitude.
What do you like best about being part of the Good Nights?
Well, we get to see a lot of places. We've been to Utica, New York, places in Ohio. It's really, I mean, I didn't think that I was going to travel like this post-college, but this band has been an incredibly enriching experience in that respect, so.
I just wait for the next thing he's going to say.
It wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
'Cause if you'll kindly remember, you said this would be easy. Please be careful what you claim. You're gonna get me in trouble.
The New Wilmington Area Chamber of Commerce holds its 10th annual Business Expo on Saturday, March 10th. The Westminster College Fieldhouse will host the event from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The expo gives area businesses a chance to get exposure to local customers. If you have any questions, contact Ann Bruning at 724-946-3300.
Westminster College hosts its very own first Give Day on Tuesday, February 14th from 2 p.m. till 5 p.m. in the McKelvey's Maple Room. Students can write thank you postcards to alumni, sign the class banner, take pictures, and see the 7-foot giving pyramid. Show appreciation for Westminster alumni with your help with your tuition bill. And that will be all here on the county line.
Be sure to log on to WCN247.com for all your campus updates and community connections.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
This would be easy. Please be careful what you claim. You're gonna get me in trouble. And this gets harder. And this gets harder every day. You said this would be easy, this would be easy. You said this would be easy, this would be easy. You said